Go ahead.
DK, have you eat ketchup?
What if Vegeta was less prideful? So basically, we're gonna have this to the point where some minor changes happen, and it's gonna change everything, right? So we're gonna have it to where Vegeta realizes something when after he sees his dad get punked by Beerus, he's gonna be like, "Oh hell no!" So he sees that happen. He also starts moving a lot more tight throughout his younger years, right? So he's training with Nappa and Raditz. Nice proficiency. When they destroy planets, I want y'all to put this in the comment. When they destroy planets, instead of killing everyone, they let some people live under the condition that they, one, leave and never come back, and two, they either help with the rebellion, and they also teach them some of their, like, you know, strongest / forbidden techniques. So it's like Vegeta low-key got like this hidden army just waiting patiently to like get their run back. Because Vegeta's even like, you know what? Maybe I was a little bit wrong. And this isn't him being good per se. I think most of like his evil deeds stem from him believing and thinking that he should be on top. Which inherently, if you were born to, if someone said, hey, you're meant to be the strongest, you're meant to rule, you would believe that, right? So then with that being said, Nappa would also take note that like a couple years back, there was a kid born around the same time as you, Prince. There was a kid born around the same time as you, but he was born with an even higher power level than you. And Vegeta would be like, interesting, Nappa. Very well then. So we'll get to that momentarily. Like he's like, we'll worry about that later. So as years pass, everything pretty much happens like it does in canon. Now with Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz, them all training and them all doing what they need to do, they're dedicating a lot of their time learning and training. And also, I would say from one of the people that they destroyed throughout many years, I'm pretty sure at least one of them will know how to, you know, sense, maybe not sense key per se, but they will at least have like a rough idea. It won't be as refined. And also they would be able to know how to hide their power level. So they would only have their power level slightly increased. So it would basically appear about the same like it did in canon. And they would also have a couple of people that know how to work with like Frieza technology. So Frieza doesn't have a track on it, but still has like the location. This way, basically, so they're able to keep all their stuff in secret while they still do what they do, okay? And without him thinking that he deserves the world, and like without his entitlement, he's able to save a lot of time on a lot of things, right? So Vegeta and his crew, they eventually get Broly, Paragus, Turtles, and they get those people, you know, and they're training them, but they only can do it so often, right? And we'll say that their pods are even upgraded, like they have their own special pods, and we'll say it's even them. They have it upgraded and it moves faster, so they even have like periods where they can go train for a little bit. And they even have some healing pods on some like distant planet that Frieza never goes to. What was it? Frieza never goes to planet 411 or something. It was some Team 4-star reference. So we got that shit cooking, right? So Vegeta and them, they're much stronger. Turtles and them are much stronger. They even teach Raditz how to use his grade 8. Same thing with Turtles, and Broly is like his own can of worms, which they're trying to teach him how to fight, but they don't know how to fight, so they're like, what the hell do we do, right? And this is still during like the same, okay, this is like before Raditz went to Earth, so Broly is still fairly young right now, okay? So they're trying to think on like how in the hell do we train this dude, because like the way we train is a lot more brutal and aggressive. And I would say they eventually will learn Akari, but that's just not yet, right? So Raditz talks about like, wait, we can go get my brother. He might not be as strong as us, but more Saiyans, the more firepower we got, and you saw how quickly we grow, so we could beat him up and give him a couple of Zenkai boosters and shit. And everyone's like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. And then Vegeta says, wait, no, Actually, let's finish this mission and then we'll go head out over there and just say, like, they'll make up a lie saying like it took a little bit longer than it should have, right? And they make sure that they're conquering the planets don't go super fast, or like they're doing it really quickly, because they don't want to raise Frieza's suspicion of them, you know, becoming stronger and stuff like that. So with that being said, they basically just fly off, take care of the mission, and then they go land on planet Earth. And I'll say it's just the main 3 Saiyans, while everyone else is like on like some other planet, keeping their head down and, you know, not trying to make a presence per se. It could either be like a planet that Frieza owns, or like a planet that they pretty much took over, right? So they do that, and they go around and go to Earth, pull up on these people. And you know, this is during the time when Raditz would have pulled up on them originally. He would have been like, gang gang, we here. And I'll say they pulled straight up on Goku damn near. I mean, it wouldn't make no sense for them not to, but let's just say they had to fly to him. Since the power level, everyone's alerted. Master Roshi, all these people, what are these strong power levels that we're sensing, right? During this point in the story, it's unheard of to see somebody with, like, you know, a power level over 1,000, let alone in the high 30,000s, or like in the, well, let me see, where would they be at? I'd say Raditz could be 30, Nappa could be 35, and then Vegeta could be like 60, maybe that's pushing it. But I don't really do numbers when it comes to my Dragon Ball Z what ifs, unless it's done a particular way. But I digress. The main point of what I'm saying right now is they're a lot stronger than what they are in canon, but they're not strong enough to completely take on like the likes of like the Ginny Force. Maybe with their Great Ape transformation, but their goal is Frieza, but also keeping an eye out for Beerus. Okay, so they go to planet Earth. They pull up on these people, and Goku's like, "Oh my fucking god, we're dead!" Like. And this is one of those like rare times where Goku is like no hope at all. And he's like, no, we're dead. Like, there is no way we can beat this power, like, at all. Like, no. They eventually make it over to Goku, and then like, Raditz, is this your brother? And Raditz is like, well, yeah, actually. And they're just like, okay. Actually, no, I lied. Turtles is gonna be with them, or like Paragus. Somebody else is gonna be with them. And then Raditz is like, brother. And then he'll do the whole same song and speech about, you know, you being a Saiyan, warrior race, and all that type of stuff. But the only difference here is they're not gonna try to kill him. They're not gonna try to kill them. They're gonna try to recruit them. And then they also could see that he has a kid, and Vegeta thinks that hybrids may hold more potential than the full-blooded Saiyans. That's only to be discovered. And so Goku's like, why? He actually, I don't think he would question it, right? Because Goku is so much weaker than these people. And then Nappa will probably make a comment like, hey, yo, Vegeta, is the gravity on this planet a lot lighter than it should be? That was the worst Nappa impression, but it's good enough. And Vegeta's like, now that you mention it, Nappa, this gravity's lower, I'd say about 10 times. That might explain why his power level is so weak. And then Bulma pipes up because she hears this. She's like, wait, are you saying that y'all home planet is 10 times gravity? Or like, you know, 10 times the Earth's gravity? And they're like, yeah. And Bulma's like, So what you're saying is, you need to get strong enough to beat this freezer guy or whatever. And then if you're saying that you're in gravity conditions, interesting. Wait, I have an idea. As long as y'all don't blow this planet up, if y'all don't blow this planet up, I think I could make something where it makes gravity much harder. Basically, the gravity chamber. And we might be able to do something with this. And Vegeta's interested, like, go on, woman. And she's like, well, it wouldn't be that too hard. 10 times gravity seems pretty easy for y'all. So I'd be able to make it maybe 200 times Earth's gravity at max. And everyone's like, Also, let's see, and then Turtles would come through and be like, all right, perfect. And I also brought some blueprints for the because he had it in his pod, we'll say. Also brought some blueprints for the healing chamber. Maybe you might be able to do something with this. This way we don't have to wait to heal. And she said, oh yes, this is easy actually. I think I got some of this spare stuff at the house. And so everyone flies off. Goku calls Nimbus, and Vegeta says, we're bringing the kid too. And Goku's like, I don't think my wife is like Kakarot. And Goku gets a little mad about that, but like not mad, but like he's just like, okay, that's not my name, bucko. And they're just like, listen, we can't take any chances. For all we know, Frieza could be listening in on us now. It's something Raditz was saying, Vegeta would be like, no, that's impossible. We all changed our cup. And then like before they get that full thought out, Turtles looks at his scouter and realizes he grabbed the wrong one. This isn't the one for like when they're on missions. He grabbed the one like Brawly or somebody put down, and then they realize that their whole conversation may be getting transferred back to Frieza. And during the flying, because like they're mid-flight, during the flying, they were also talking about, wait, Krillin would say something like this, wait, couldn't we just wish him away with the Dragon Balls? And then Piccolo would be involved in this too, because like he's like, what's going on? So the Dragon Balls would be mentioned, okay? Also, with that being the said in case, they would be like, shit, we're running out of time now because Frieza's on to us. Turtles destroys his scouter, and then they fly off, and Bulma begins making their the gravity room. Like, it's not a ship, it's just the gravity room, right? So they begin working on that, and then Vegeta starts telling them what the game plan is, right? And then like with Piccolo there, he's like, he's a Namekian. Wait, wasn't there a planet? And then they think about planet Namek, so forth and so forth, right? So it would basically be where they have a year of training, and then they're gonna go set off to planet Namek, which Frieza's most likely gonna be there, right? So they all slowly but for surely begin their training, and with Raditz there, and they're not as malicious, but they're not like necessarily pure-hearted. It's like they're like on that anti-hero status just a little bit, okay? So with that being said, they're like, oh crap, okay, let's get this. So with Gohan training them, also Gohan training in this timeline isn't involved with people dying. So I don't think Gohan would be traumatized nearly as much. He would be scared at first per se, but I think with all the Saiyans and stuff influenced, I think his Saiyan blood would start to boil a little bit, and they would also see his like outbursts and stuff, and everyone thinking that this kid is similar to Brawly, and then also realizing that, you know, Goku's, you know, with his martial arts might be the person, because this isn't Super Goku, this is Z Goku. They're thinking that Goku might be able to help out with teaching Brawly how to control himself. And Raditz, surprisingly enough, is actually a fairly good mentor when it comes to the mental aspect, because even with his character, it shows that he's very tact and very resourceful. So I'm thinking that we'll have it to where your boy is being very tact and resourceful, and also has different tactics to help people, you know, calm themselves down. On top of that, with Goku's tutelage, I think they might be able to make something shake, okay? So this is like 6 months in, and we'll say that Gohan unlocks Ikari because they were even telling Goku about it and stuff, and saying what was one of the main things. Gohan struggling to like keep full control of it, but he's able to like maintain some type of sanity versus like just completely going off the walls and the handles and being like, I don't know what I need to do, blah blah blah. And everyone else gets immensely stronger from this 1 year, and they even tell Brawly like, hey Brawly, we need to go, let's go, right? And so after this 1 year, they eventually make the ship, and then they fly off to Namek. Now the reason they're flying off to Namek is to beat Frieza there. But then before they go, they think about it, and it's like, wait, we actually, they would get Tien. They would get Tien. Who is it? Tien, Krillin, Yamcha, maybe. And maybe Boma. They would get them to fly the ship there, right? On their way there. So they would be getting some more training in, because they was training with the Saiyans. Like Tien wouldn't be wanting left behind, and Krillin wouldn't just sit there and do nothing, and Yamcha's just kind of there. Because I don't realistically see him wanting to involve on this. But since the planet of Earth is involved, I think he might get active, okay? So we'll do that, right? And also another thing to note is Bulma and Vegeta got a lot more friendlier throughout this time period. So we're gonna have to include that. I'm gonna say that Launch and Raditz do introduce, because Tien was always like never giving her the time of day, and Raditz was kind of there, and when she turned blonde, he was like, hey, that's what I'm talking about. And we'll say that maybe Turtles and Nappa might get something later, but like, can't really say for sure, because Nappa is getting in his elderly years, okay? So with that being said, they fly off to the planet or whatever, and they don't fly off. They get wished to the planet, and they're all mentally ready for this. And, you know, Chi-Chi's livid and stuff. But Gohan's kind of like, he's a little more rough. He's a little more scruffy, because he's actually been fighting with veterans that have been fighting most of their life. So I feel like most of his, like, scared demeanor and all that stuff, especially with a year of like brutal training, I think he would be okay, versus what he did in canon, where he was only out in the wild for 6 months and then trained to fight. But a whole year of actually fighting with all these seasoned warriors. Nappa's like 50, and he's been a Saiyan, an elite Saiyan at that. Vegeta's like right there behind him, like a little bit younger. I want to say like 40 something, like, because I think in canon he's just hitting Nappa's age, right? He's been fighting his whole life. Same thing with Raditz, same thing with Goku, and a similar thing with Turtles, okay? So with all these veterans right in front of him, giving him all this tutelage and knowledge, I don't think it would be too hard to say that Gohan wouldn't be opposed to fighting. And also all these Saiyans saying, no, embrace your Saiyan side, like embrace it, you know, don't run from it, whatever, right? Now, there could still be some reluctancy, don't get me wrong, but given how he fought in canon when he didn't want to fight to begin with, and he did it out of necessity, and things being a little bit different without him experiencing all the death and carnage, this is my long-winded version of saying I don't think Gohan would be opposed to fighting, versus preferring not to fight and being traumatized by it, okay? So they blast off. I mean, they get wished to the planet. They're on the planet. They're hyping themselves up, saying, like, we got to get in here. We got to be ready. They don't got sensu beans, too. So the Earthlings are going to be coming in with the refreshments, so to speak, right? While the Earthlings are also training, okay? So that happens. I would like to also add that they might even Tien, Krillin, and maybe Yamcha. I think they might also be willing to even go to King Kai's planet and do some training there. I think what would happen is Kami would realize what was going on and would want to help out the Earthlings, because the Saiyans are doing their own thing. And I don't think Tien would be nearly as arrogant as Yamcha in canon. I think that might have been an anime only, but I don't think he would be like, yeah, let me put this 400 gravity off rip, right? I think he would take his time, be a little more patient, and also work on it when the Saiyans aren't, or they're like taking their break, right? So I could at least comfortably say that Tien would know something about this, and Krillin would know something about this, okay? Because they don't want to be left behind. Given that Tien was one of the first few people that knew how to fly, I'd also say during the trip, they actually build up to the point where they're able to really handle it. And given that Goku was able to get massive gains in, like, what was it? I want to say maybe it was like, Even if it was a month, I don't think it was that long when Goku was traveling to Planet Namek, but he was able to get really good gains, okay, in a short period of time. So with a whole year and multiple strong training partners, and on top of the fact that he already has martial arts knowledge, I'll say that honestly, I would have to put Goku at the lead here. Gohan may be lagging behind a little bit, but not by much. And then when he's in Akari, he's definitely there. Goku has some type of understanding of Akari with his whole the whole rage aspect. Like I feel like Goku wouldn't, how do I say it? I don't think Goku would really be able to tap into it. Actually, I'm gonna say he could tap into it, because in the original canon, Goku was using like the Ozaru like projection. So I say he would have a good handle on it. And then the same thing goes for all the other Saiyans. They're like all really relatively close to one another. But Goku is a lead because of his martial arts. And I would also say that Piccolo wouldn't be too far behind, and he could go toe to toe with the best of them. But I think what Piccolo might do is, instead of getting wished there, I think he would want to make sure the Earthlings are whipped into shape too, because of like this potential threat. And like, since he's gonna be flying there, he's like, you know what, I'll take this time to get a little extra stronger. And since they already have experience training and stuff, I'll say that they get some really good gains on the way to Planet Namek, the Earthlings and Piccolo. And then they get their wish, they're there, and they're like, all right, what do we gotta go do? So Goku and Gohan, they're like sensing energy around, and everyone else had to do this shit now too. So like, don't get me wrong. So they're just kind of like, I sense Ki over there, let's go check this out. And then they fly off, and they go over there. So the whole group scatters, right? And then they realize that Frieza is on this planet. He must have just arrived. So their whole goal is to get the Dragon Balls. Raditz does most of the negotiations, right? He's like, hey, we're not the bad guys here in this situation. We're not good by far, but we're your better bet besides Frieza. I say Vegeta might still wish for immortality, or at the very minimum, he would rather not Frieza have immortality, if you know what I'm saying. Like, he's like, all right, even if I don't wish for immortality, because Goku is stronger than him, so maybe they might fight about it. He's like, I would rather take the chances of me having it than Frieza having it, right? Frieza thinks the Saiyans either died off or they're planning a rebellion as usual, because like, I think Frieza would just be like, the monkeys, they've got some balls on them. I'll show them what. Something like that. And Frieza would just be like, they've helped me out. Maybe I'll feel merciful to give them, a second chance to serve under me after I've acquired my immortality. And that happened. So everything's pretty much going as smooth as normal. And they get some Dragon Balls. Frieza's got a good chunk of them. And then Zarbon and Dodoria basically was like, we sense some power levels fluctuating. My scouter must be broken because some of these power levels are in the... And then Frieza's like, go on. I don't like to be kept waiting, Zarbon. My lord, these power levels, they're in the 50,000s and 60,000s. And Frieza's like, oh? You don't say. No matter. And Zarbon's like, what? I'll just call the Ginyu Force. Get this problem worked out. It must be Vegeta and his little Saiyan parade. We'll get the Ginyu Force here pronto and get some new scouters while we're at it. Because I still think the scouter situation may happen. But even if it didn't, which I'll say it did, they would still be like, nah, there's no way we're reading these power levels. And like, so meanwhile, what's happening with Goku and Gohan while that's happening is they go over to like the Elder, and then they get their potential unlocked. And I'd say that it would happen for them just because when they were looking, that energy felt the most similar to Kami's energy. And so Goku was like, maybe he might have some information on the Dragon Balls. They read their minds, and they're like, oh, I see my planet's in great threat. Well, no matter. And he raises their potential and they get a substantial boost. Like, Goku's approaching first form Frieza right now. Actually, I'd probably say he's like second form Frieza maybe. Just, it's spitballing too, so like it's not really anything rehearsed, but I'll say he's probably somewhere around there. And Gohan without Akari is probably first form, and then in Akari, I mean, pretty decent boost. So they're doing their justice, like they're ready. Okay, so they're ready, and like Goku's thinking like we should probably try to get the others to get this boost, because you know, like, we need all the power we can get. And Guru's like, no. And Goku's like, what? Even though y'all may be pure apart, those Saiyans, they're not evil per se, but they are far from pure apart. There is nothing stopping them from betraying this planet and you to get whatever their hearts desire. I would have to speak to them first before I could make any rash decisions. Nell, go with them. And then Nell would be like, but Lord Guru, I don't want to leave you unattended. Nell, this planet is under attack like we've never seen before. What do you think would happen if these warriors failed in their endeavors to stop this great foe? And Nell's like, I get it, but sir, my duties. Nell, sometimes there's things far above your duties. And then they would blast off, right? It would be not much of anything happening until the fight with Frieza, but some minor things would occur. Broly is coming. I don't think Paragus would be. Actually, nah, we're gonna make it where Paragus be there. Paragus and Broly is coming. The Earthlings and Piccolo are coming, right? And then Goku and the Saiyans are dealing with, you know, everyone else right now. They know they can't go toe to toe with Frieza, and Goku's like, well, me and Gohan definitely can fight it. And Vegeta's like, wait, how did y'all get this strong? And Goku's like, well, the old guy basically unlocked our potential. I wanted to see if he could try to unlock y'all's, but he said no, he would have to talk to y'all first. Vegeta's like, god damn it. Anyways, so what's the game plan? Turtles comes through and is like, yeah, well, he's saying this. He's like, what's the game plan? What are we gonna do? And Goku's like, well, me and Gohan, we're pretty right there with this guy. I don't know if he has a transformation, because I believe somebody would have said something about this, but we should be able to deal with it. And then before they could finish anything, Zarbon and Dodoria pulls up on them. And the reason I think this would happen is because the power that they got for that very brief moment, the scouters saw it and broke. So I think it wouldn't be too far-fetched for them to be able to track it. Because I mean, like, really, like, imagine though. Like, imagine you got a burst of ki out of nowhere. Like, I don't think you'll be able to control it for a few seconds. So when they flew back, their energies got red. And then Zarbon and Dodoria had a general idea of where they was. And everyone looks and like, oh, it's them. And Vegeta would look at Zarbon and be like, well, what do we got here? And everyone's thinking about like who should go. Like, I think they would just kind of look around and be like, rock, paper, scissors? Like, and they're like, and everyone stops and says, actually, we'll let the kid fight him. And everyone's thinking about it, and then Goku's like, no, actually, I think Goku would say this. Let Gohan fight him. And everyone's like, wait, what? Why would we let a brat? And then Goku's like, think about it. He has the strongest potential out of all of us. And to be fair, besides fighting us and sparring or training, he doesn't have any real combat experience. And everyone's just kind of like, they all step back without saying a word. It says, and then Raditz comes up on his nephew and it's like, go get him, show him what you're made of. And then Gohan looks at him and just powers up, bam, and flies up to them and takes a stance. And then they're just like, oh, how cute, you're gonna send a child after us. Well, don't be complaining when he's dead. And Vegeta, Lord Frieza would like to have a word with you. And then it's like, and Vegeta scoffed. I might not be the Super Saiyan warrior, but these two here have the highest chances of being it if they're not already it. And then Gohan's like, well, he puts his hand out and just, I'll make up a move. He's like, Monday, crush! And then just eviscerates Dodoria. And he's gone. And Zarbon's like, oh hell, excuse me? He powers up into his like monstrous form, and then him and Gohan are duking it out. Me. Now you gotta remember, Gohan's much stronger. Now he still gotta work on the confidence issue, but that is kind of the point, right? And then Goku's like giving him pointers. Like, it's kind of funny too, because everyone's giving him pointers on like, hey, don't forget to duck. No, you gotta dodge that. And like everyone's just sitting there giving him all sorts of different pointers. You gotta be better than that. Dodge, attack, weave. And then Gohan's like, all right. He puts his hands back and just Kame. And then eviscerates Zarbon. And then he flies back down. And everyone's like, oh wow, look at him. Vegeta even comments in like, he's looking more and more like a Saiyan every day. And it's like this very, very odd, what's the word I'm looking for? Not camaraderie, but like, it's like this very wholesome-ish like moment, right? And when they're all like kind of celebrating and stuff, they're just like, so how do we get this Dragon Balls from Frieza, right? And they said, we might just need to wait for everyone else to get here. Because when Brawly gets here, he's gonna be pretty strong. And when the rest of the gang get here, we might be able to all attack Frieza in the meantime. But in the meantime, we're gonna kind of need to wait it out, right? That's what everyone's thinking. But before that, I'll say that enough time's passed and the Ginyu Force is actually within orbit. So they make a pit stop and do a mean turnaround, right? So they do this mean turnaround and they pull up on the planet a little bit sooner than normal. And Vegeta's like, hey guys, y'all sense that? And everyone would get alerted. He'd just be like, ding! And they'd be like, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, Vegeta smiles. That's the Ginyu Force. Now, I really wanted this. And Goku would say the same thing that he said again, but he'd say it again. Like, do you think Gohan should fight him? And everyone's like, Kakarot, no one wants your... But remember now, this Vegeta is a little more or less prideful. And yes, this is a little bit out of character, but at the same time, if he wastes just a little bit of his energy versus the experienced seasoning wasting their energy, right? It won't be too bad. Plus, he really doesn't get any room to fight. So we might as well train him up while we still can, because what else are we gonna do? So they all land down and they all pull up. And they're like, Raccoon's like, Vegeta, I've been waiting for a chance to rough you up a bit. I knew you wasn't loyal to Lord Frieza. And Vegeta says, yeah. Oh, but before we even start. And then Vegeta immediately kills Gildo? And then like basically just immediately evaporates bro, like off rip. He says, yeah, I'm not gonna take any chances of anyone dying to that weird ability, right? So I think that would be a good way to start it off. And Gohan is just like, all right, here I go. And so Raccoon and Gohan faced off for their first match. And everyone's just kind of watching it on the sidelines, right? And Captain Ginyu, unlike original, he doesn't get the Dragon Balls, right? And I'd say that somebody would want to fight him, but I think they would be like, yeah, let's just wait and see how this happens. Now, this is their Saiyan instincts taking over, where realistically Goku could just kill them all pretty much by one-shotting them. And they all are, holding back their power. So Raccoon starts fighting Gohan as per usual, and Gohan's getting a lot of experience from this fight, learning how this dude's fighting, learning how this dude's moving. But eventually Gohan's like, he starts toying around, but just a little bit. And Goku's like, Gohan, you got to stop that. Finish the fight now. Don't play around with your food. And Gohan's like, okay. And then he just, he'll either one-shot him or send him away with a ki blast. Doesn't really make a difference. Vegeta and Burst pulls up, and then they start duking it out. Me. And they're actually pushing Gohan a little bit. Once again, his power is greater than theirs because he's approaching first form Frieza. But his lack of experience is the main thing holding him back, right? So I think he would be struggling for a little bit, right? I think he would be like, God damn it. And like he's just feeling like the pressure of this fight. And then Vegeta would chime in, keep your head, keep your cools about you. You know, stay calm, stay focused, rat it. If you can't beat them with straight raw brute force, you could always outsmart them. And then Nappa and Vegeta would just kind of scoff at that a little bit, like, this dude's unsane, like, that kid's more sane like than us. I mean, than you. Goku would be like, you remember your mental training with me and Piccolo? And so he would start doing that and start calming down and then just really locking in, right? And then so they start trying to attack for the second time, round 2, and Gohan basically breaks Jace's arm. Watches Burter's movements because he is fast, but instead of trying to follow with his eyes, follows with his ki sense, and then got him. And then immediately gut punch him, punches him up in the air, and then just sends a flying Masenko his way, and then eviscerates him. And then Jace is like, oh no, and then Gohan's about to literally shoot the last little ki blast, and then Captain Ginyu's like, okay, that's enough. So him and Captain Ginyu start to fight. And this fight at the beginning time, because Gohan is locking in right now, is a lot even. And you also got to remember their potential unlock, it keeps going up as time's going too. But like, they're slowly locking in more and more, right? So Gohan is getting the edge more and more. And Ginyu's like, wait, what's going on? So he peeps his scouter and it's like, huh. Oh, 100K. That's not a big, 100K. And then like, as Gohan's like concentrating and really breathing and really trying to keep himself like, you know, locked in and focused, 200K, 300K, and then 500K. What? That's impossible. That power level is almost... Gideon throws his scouter down to Jace. Vegeta knows exactly what's happening, and he tells the brat, get out of the way! He's about to change bodies. And Gohan's like, wait, what? And then change now happens, and we pretty much have it to where I say Vegeta would do it again, but he's just doing it differently, right? He pulls up on Gohan, and like literally says, this is for your Zenkai, my boy, and beats the dog snot out of him while Goku tends to Gohan and Ginyu's body. Then when Gohan and Ginyu's body starts to waver and starts to lose a little bit, we'll have it to where he's about to do the change now, and then before that happens, Turtles or Radish realizes what's about to happen and like flings Ginyu in the way, and boom bam, Gohan gets his body back, and before anything else can be said, he's just like I think he'll do like a Nappa attack or something and just shoot like a massive ki blast out of his mouth, and then just says, good riddance, and then like completely passes out, right? Now, with that being said, I think they would go to the healing pod, right? And then they wouldn't go to the one. I think Frieza might not be there, but I'm not even going to put them in that situation. So I'll probably say they go to the other healing pod that Goku used to cannon. And while they're, you know, putting Gohan in there or whatever, they give him some, they basically rip bro's clothes off and give him some Saiyan stuff. And like, you know, it's like half Goku's gi, Goku's pants, Piccolo's like shoe wear, and then like the top part is like Saiyan, because those are technically all his mentors if you think about it. And so all of this is on him, and like he's thrown into the pod, and like Goku's like, well, good luck, buddy, take your time and make sure you're fully recovered. And Goku's like, don't forget, you can meditate while you're unconscious. And Gohan hears him and says weakly, okay, Dad. And then I think that's pretty much where they would start be getting into dealing with Frieza, because Frieza would be like, all right, what's going on? But by this point in time, all the Dragon Balls are gathered, right? So now they're thinking about what do we do now, right? Because they're like, do we wish for our friends to get here faster? Like, they got the Dragon Balls, but like, what wish do we honestly make, right? And since this isn't all in one go, and I can easily stop it right here, is what I'm about to do. What 3 wishes do they make? Because unlike the original canon, no one's dead. They're waiting for their friends to get here, which their friends should be here at any point in time because the Guinea Force got here a little bit sooner. So, yeah, that's pretty much where we leave her off because no one's dead in this story that, you know, of importance. And a lot more people are involved in the main story than they was in canon. So who or what do they wish for? Find out on the next part of What If Vegeta Was Less Prideful. Goodbye.